I'm
Hmm.
always uncomfortable.
Okay. So welcome, Raman. It is always
Hi.
delightful and it is always wonderful talking to you.
Hi, Anu. How are you?
So I'm good. So what's special today?
Today is my day off. Actually, finally, I'm off after 10 days of working. I've been
Hmm.
working every single day.
Hmm.
So I woke up, slept really well, and I'm ready to go for this
Hmm.
weekend. How are
So
you?
do you identify yourself more with Canada or with America?
Actually, I'm more American than Canadian. I feel like
Hmm.
visitor. Like yesterday, I was crossing the border to go to work, and on the way back home, I bought some clothing, and they're like, you have to pay taxes on this. I was like, why? Apparently, the limit is $200. My things were $270.
Hmm.
Then I was just like, I'm not gonna pay taxes. They're like, oh, like if you don't, then you have to return these things. I'm like, I'll return it. And the officer at the border, he was just surprised, like, you're gonna drive all the way back to return all this? I'm like, yes, I will. But I was like, yeah, I didn't return it, but I put in my work. But I was like, slowly, I take it like slow amount at a time because I'm like, I'm not paying taxes because I already paid tax in America. I don't pay in Canada. So I feel like in Canadian, whenever I cross border, they think of me like weird because I'm American. I think that's what the same thing happens when people cross over to the US
Hmm.
side. Because when I'm crossing, within 2 minutes, I'm in and out. When there's a Canadian in front of me, they take forever. I don't know what they interrogate them for, like, why here? Why? What are you trying to do with this country? I don't know what they do, but I feel like it's the same thing with the US people going to Canada versus Canadian going to US. It's the same thing they would do to each other. I don't know why though. I
There
don't know.
must be there must be some things that you liked about Canada, right?
Oh yeah, the weather is nice. My
Weather is
husband's
nice.
nice. Weather is nice so far. Because this
Hmm.
year I feel like I brought my California weather here. Because in California, where I was
Hmm.
living, it's not chill weather. And now here this year they didn't get much snow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think I brought the nice weather with me from California.
So you
So
saved
far the weather
lots.
has been nice.
You saved lots of Canadian people from cold weather, right?
I know,
Yeah.
thanks to me, or the global warming, whatever that is.
Yes. You manifested pleasant weather here.
Oh yeah, because I was just kind of like her, because it would have been my first time in snow. Because
Hmm.
where I live, it doesn't snow there. It's like foggy. And then here, it's like nice. Like it did snow here and there, but not much though. It like barely touched it. And I think the during the fall time, it was amazing because I saw the leaf changing. I loved the orange leaf, red leaf color. It changed. The weather was really nice. Summer, it was nice, but it was hot. So I'm used to like dry heat. It's humid heat here. That's one difference that I noted. The weather's nice. I think my family here is amazing as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't have to cook anymore. My mom cooks for me here.
So that's the other thing that you liked about Canada.
I know. I don't have to worry about food. My food is already cooked. I actually funny thing is when I get off work, mom calls me like, Roman, tu kuch khana? मैं क्या mom जो मर्जी है. And by the time I'm come here, like मैं तो बस से पनीर बनाया, दाल बनाई है, सब्जी. She has food ready for me because I know I'm gonna be hungry, and the food is ready. I'm ready to eat, and I think also when I like one thing I like about Canada, I've been sleeping better here. I didn't
Yes.
sleep well back home. So
Hmm.
much stress was in my life. It was just like out of proportional. Until this day, like I'm a like sleeper. If my husband moves a little bit, I'm like, "Are you okay?" Because that's what I've been doing for the longest. But I've been sleeping way better. Even like people tell me like around me, they're like, "Raman, you look more relaxed." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm relaxed. I don't have to worry about anything these days."
You can ask them, do you have some problem with that?
No, I'm not. I'm like, nay. And they're like, oh, your skin is glowing. I'm like, yeah, because I'm sleeping well. I'm taking care of myself well because I've not taken care of myself for the longest. I mean, I have, but not as much that I'm doing now.
Hmm.
So yeah, Canada's weather, food, people, so far everything's been working out pretty nicely. I still like identify as an American because I just this one thing in me. Like when I go to India, Mera India, Mahan, that's the feeling that I get. When I go to
But in
Canada,
Canada,
US, I'm
मेरा
like,
अमेरिका मान.
Yeah. जब मैं कनाडा में हूँ, मेरा अमेरिका महान, and
But
when I'm in India मैं क्या,
that's not
sorry.
fair to Canada, right?
No, I mean, it's just the thing. Like, I don't know. My husband, he's Canadian. I don't really see him saying, I'm Canadian, I'm Canadian. And whereas me, I think it's just American people in general, they say, we're American. I don't know
Hmm.
why. There's nothing, I mean, I'm doing or anything. It's just like the feeling I get. क्योंकि I went to India last year, now.
Hmm.
When I landed, I was like, ooh, my country, my home. That's what it felt like. And whenever I cross border and I see American flag, I'm like, I'm home. That's kind of feeling I'm getting when I'm going to US.
So, Raman, what do you think? Like, when will you be finally be ready to identify as a Canadian? How long will it take for you?
I am getting better, I must say that. Like first,
Hmm.
like few months, when I moved here, I was still having hard time. Don't get me wrong, like because I never lived away from my home. Like I never,
Hmm.
my home is my mom and dad. That's my home. I never lived away from them. So obviously I was having like those like thoughts like why I'm here. I have a wonderful husband, a wonderful life here, but I I didn't have a job at that time, so it was just hard for me to get adjusted because all my life I worked. Like before work, I was in school. And then since 2011, I've been working. Yeah. So since then, I've been just working full time. So for me to sit home and people like my husband's like, Raman, tu ghar par reh, enjoy kar, like relax and go yoga, do your thing that you like to do, you never done before. For me to just sit home is one of those things I cannot do. I tried my best. It was just like hard. But now, since I got my, it's like a routine now, so it's much more better for me to like get adjusted here and think of this as my new home. Like now, the neighborhood, it just reminds me of back area where I used to live, but it's more comfortable. This past time when I went to California, I was missing here. I can tell you that much. Before I never did, but now I was missing. So I know like this is turning into my home already now, even
The
though I don't
million,
feel it.
the
Uh,
million dollar question is that
mm,
everyone wants to know. How
mm.
did you manage to manifest such a wonderful and amazing husband?
Oh, I think the reason why I manifested because I had to clear up my old shadows. Because with
Hmm.
me, the longest, I know you know, and I think we talked about it before too.
Hmm.
Before I manifested my husband, I manifested so many other things, like too many things, and then I didn't deep down, I didn't wanted them. Like I didn't want like those things. Like I didn't want narcissistic people in my life. But however, deep down in me, I didn't value myself. So those kind of people I was like manifesting. कि जो मुझे बंदा like long story short like कि मैं कौन सा समय कि मैं वो बंदे ਨੂੰ मैं attract कर रही थी ਜਿਹੜੇ मैं अपने आप ਨੂੰ मैं deep down I was feeling कि मैं worthless ਹੈਗੀ ਆ I'm worthless my value is like I need to please people to get feel valued so I need to do all these things to like please others to get that. But then my husband, but with the shadow work, when we're working on it, I just like clear those like negative feelings within me. And as soon as I start feeling that I'm comfortable with my own self, before I could like find somebody, I need to love my own self. I need to respect my own self. Once I start respecting my own self, I attracted somebody who's doing the same thing. That's what happened to me when I attracted this wonderful human being in my life. Because he's so comfortable. Before I would go on a date, I would be like getting dressed to the max, trying to put makeup, do all these things. And this time when I went to this, like, or when I met him for the first time, I was like, I'm gonna meet him the way I am. Our first like conversation, we did a video call because he lived here and I was living in the US. On video call, I just like got done with my work. I just took shower, I had my pajama on. I was not ready. My hair is everywhere. I just like, hi, how are you doing? So I was comfortable. I'm like, if you're gonna like me, you don't like me the way I am. And I like
Hmm.
myself right now, the way I look. So you have to like me. And he was okay with that. Even on our first date when we went, I didn't get dressed to the max. I just like the way I showed up, like my hair is everywhere, just normal. Like I'm like, this is what I am. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, then you don't. And this
Is it
happened to
true?
work out amazing with him.
You know, I'm going to have a partner who is respectful to me, who understands me, and who genuinely loves me, or I'm ready to remain single.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember or not. I made a vision board.
Hmm.
Do you remember? I made a vision board what I
Yes.
want and what qualities I want. I wrote it down on it.
Hmm.
And things that I was like, okay, the main important thing, like I want somebody who likes me the way I am. I love myself the way I am. So the person who's gonna come in my life, he's gonna be the same as me. I'm gonna love him for what he is. He's gonna respect me. I'm gonna respect. That's main thing. Like, so I wrote that down on that piece of paper and then I stick it because every time, because before this, people like whoever I attracted, they were really, really like self-centered, like puja karo, like take, like, make me like, I treat me as a king and you're my peasant. That's what kind of feeling I was getting. You're like, you're worthless. That's what it, but then deep down me, I was still feeling that I was worthless too, because I needed to, like, all these things to feel that. And with this husband, like, मेरा जो husband है, when I met him, like, I was totally like in love with him. And I was like, this is it. When I met him, I'm like, this is it. On my first date, I knew that he's the guy I'm going to marry.
Yes.
But
Okay.
before I could get to him, I needed all this stuff shadow work cleared up.
Lots of people they think that we can get out
Mm.
of these things by working on our thoughts or doing something or adapting to new behaviors, and they completely ignore feelings. So what do you see?
No,
Like, if you really want to manifest something, like, it is more important to work with your thoughts or adapt new actions or behaviors, or going straight into your feelings.
but before you go into your feeling, are you even willing to ready for it? Because with
Yes.
me, I have tried it as well. Like before I like कि भाई, I would watch like all these videos like you can do this better, you deserve this, and like these all things looks really nice, but what is the underlying cause of it? That's where the problem lies. Because I know like people, for example, like you started with me when I was overweight, and then I was like I didn't like the way I looked, and then obviously like I started exercising. I did half marathon, lost tons of weight, looked amazing, this and that, but underlying issues still remain the same. I kept on attracting the same guys. Even though I was looking externally looking beautiful, like I looked amazing, but hold on, sorry. Yeah, sorry, there was a call. But
It
underlying
was
I was not fixing
it,
the issue.
it, maybe it was shadow.
No, it was my mom calling. That's
Okay.
all. No, no shadow. But no, underlying issue remained the same though. I worked on the external portion because on the media, social media shows like the aapko like you gotta look a certain way, let's do this and this, like 30-day challenge, this and that. Yeah, you do all of that. Externally it fixes it. Internally doesn't remain the issue remains the same with me. I don't know about other people. With me, I still felt worthless. I still felt like, and my friend used to tell me like, Raman, there's like, I'm like, hey, I'm going on a date with this person and this is happening, blah blah blah. They're like, Raman, leave it. You deserve better than this. Other people could see all this, but deep down I couldn't see it. I'm like, no, I think this is it. They're like, no, Raman, this person does not. You guys don't match together. Leave this person. I didn't understand what they were talking about it because I knew like deep down I'm like, that's what I think, like this is the only thing I could do. I need somebody to, I I'll please you. I will do everything to do any, like I will do everything to please you, make sure you don't leave me. And with, but once I started working, like, hey, where's my underlying cause? Like, hey, it's the stem from my childhood trauma that I've been through. The things happened during growing up years. They kind of like कहते हैं ना, पत्थर पे लकीर बन जाती है. It's like embedded in me, in my genetics.
Mm.
So it just remained with me. And once I kind of like breaking those cycles and stuff, things cleared up. And next thing you know, it just, I found my husband,
Why in the
a
first
person
place?
who's,
Why in
hmm?
the first place you were attracting guys who were self-centered and very narcissistic?
Because during childhood, like if I think about it, like my parents, I love my mom and dad, don't take me wrong, but the thing is, in order to get attention from them, in order to get anything for them, I need to do certain things. I need to be a good person. I need to like get a certain grade. I need to take care of the house. I need to do all these things before like I could get that attention and love from them. You know, that's what the
Mhm.
thing happens when you grow up a narcissistic person. And then on top of it, you add things like you were a child and you're getting abused sexually, physically, mentally, you name it, you get abused in that ways too. So in you start thinking all these things like from like society. On top of that, watching the movies and stuff, like in Bollywood movie, that's what they showed for the longest. Like, doesn't matter my husband beats me or doing all these things, but this is my devata. This is it. So that's what those like I think I don't know what the right term is like वो क्या कहते हैं ना कि society it kind of makes you think this is it. This is it, nothing other than that. इससे बड़ा बढ़िया तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. And that's what happened with me.
Mm.
And but it took me almost like 30 something years to realize like, hey, this is not the right way. you know when you're born, like going back to like womb, things happen to mom as well. Like I know people talk about like mental health and this and that, but when the woman is pregnant with a child, what their mental state is, are they perfectly like stable or not? Because that gonna like whatever she's thinking, that's gonna affect the child it is born. Like when bacha come up there. So on top of then your mom leaves you, you're like freshly newly in this world, and your mom is out of your life for next 4 years. So the main bond is broken already. The strongest bond that a child could have in the world, that's broken. For those 4 years, you get raised by somebody who's already has like other issues going along. So that जो भी उनकी life में चल रहा है, they're going to teach you what that is, है ना? So you catch that. And then after that 4 years, your mom comes in life and she takes you to school. Then you have to try to form a bond. And at that time, you are in a new place with new people around you, and people are taking advantage of you when you're young, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Do you get bad things happen to you? They kind of like वो कहते हैं it's kind of start the word is like it's kind of like तुम्हारे में genetic में कहते हैं
Uh,
लिखना
there
क्या
are many
कहते हैं
words for
लिखना
that.
शुरू हो जाता है
Ancestral
हाँ
trauma, it's a genetic
yeah
curse or genetic
yeah
trauma.
so all these things like it starts from the womb and it just keeps on going and adding and adding and adding, and like by the end you're 30-year-old and you're like, why am I attracting these people? Like where is coming from? Why I keep on I till this day I remember the conversation I had with your brother. He's like, Raman, like when I was going through a heartbreak up, I don't remember when was it. And he's like, Raman, why are you repeating your same patterns? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, I don't. The thing is, people can see it. People who are healed, they can see that like you're repeating a pattern. You have created a pattern on your own and you're repeating it. For me, I was like in a sleep cycle. I keep on repeating it. I did not realize that I'm doing the same circle, like same वो क्या कहते हैं like वही बंदे को अट्रैक्ट कर रही हूँ, वही चीज कर रही हूँ. And obviously
Loophole.
funny thing is loophole में
It's
हूँ.
a
हाँ, that's the
yeah.
right term. Like it's like गोल गोल घूम रही हूँ.
Hmm.
नम्मा बंदा, it's like funny thing is like the body is changing but the same entity that I'm like attracting over and over and over.
Over and again.
That was
Basically,
happening.
basically it's
Hmm.
your own shadow that needs to be released. And
Yeah,
these guys, they are messengers of your unhealed parts.
yeah. It's kind of you. Don't they have a term like universe keep on like bringing the same lesson to you until you learn your lesson? And with me, I was doing the same exam over and over and flunking it. But then I didn't. The reason I was flunking it, that's how like because I was keep on doing repeating the same mistake over and over. Which I am now. It's funny though. Now I see people who do the same thing that I was doing at that time, and I'm like, if I can get out of that, you can get out of that too. And I know people
Yes.
have hard time believing in it. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, it's easier for me to say that, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. And people, it's hard for them. They don't understand because I know when somebody who was healed, I was telling me that, like, hey, you're gonna be fine. Didn't believe in that at all. That's what was happening with me.
I mean,
So once,
what is the most important thing while choosing a partner?
oh, with me, the main thing was, can he really? respect me the way I respect myself. For me, that's personally is like I respect myself, I respect him. We have to be same level. Like with
Software.
me, when I
Software should be same, similar.
this is yeah, because
Yeah.
financial matters. When I was growing up, you know, and another thing with me, I was keep like when since I was younger, I was programmed like make sure you find a guy who's need to be Punjabi, Jat Sikh Munda. Make sure he
Hmm.
need to be doctor, lawyer, or engineer. Make sure he comes from a similar background. So when I was like looking for those guys, when I was looking, and at that time I was dating those kind of people, but that's not what I really wanted. So when I went when I went with my husband, I found the totally opposite. But he's educated, but he's not a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, but he's educated. He's an amazing guy. He makes amazing money. He takes care of himself. He takes care of himself and his family the way I've taken care of me and myself and my family as well. So we came with the same values. He has the same similar upbringing as well. Like he was the oldest child, I'm the oldest child. So we have been the like caretaker, care provider for the family, head of household for the longest. So it's kind of like a similar mindset that he has, and I have the same mindset. Like it's so easy. If I talk to him about something and he understands me, vice versa. So mental compatibility more than physical
Physical
compatibility. But
compatibility.
he's good. He's a good looking guy too.
Yeah.
He takes care of himself way better than
Hmm.
I do. I can tell you that much. But like physically, he's amazing. But in generally, he's really nice. And on our first date too, like when we went on a date, we talked till like 2 o'clock in the morning when we first met. Like we we went and had a dinner, and then like we met around like he came around 2 o'clock, no, 2 o'clock, 2 to 2 o'clock. So 12
Hmm.
hours we talked for 12 hours straight. And
Does
this is the first time.
does anything like perfect partner exist?
Partner. I mean, you have to be on your partner first before you could be somebody else's partner. You have to be your own partner first. That's what I believe in.
Okay, that's my new Instagram story. Thank you for that.
Before I could be seriously, that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Before I know, like there's a like manifest this guy or that girl, this and that. But with me, I feel like before you
In
can even
movies,
manifest those people, you,
yeah, yeah, especially in
uh,
Bollywood movies also, or in any
uh,
kind of movie, they put people in a dream-like state, like Mera, uh, Mera hero, this and that, or
yeah,
Mere
uh,
Sapno Ki Rani, my dream girl or my
uh,
dream boy, and they put people in such a dream state that one day you'll find a guy and he will solve all your problems, or one day you'll find
nice.
a girl and everything will be solved. Does anything like happen in the real world, or there's a different story?
No, I feel like it's a different story. From my personal experience, I think it's a different story. Like you in the past, like in the movies for the longest, that's what they like. I know, like when I was growing up, I was watching all these Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. Then there's a Cinderella story. Like
Hmm.
there's like this Prince Charming comes and helps her out and takes her
Yeah.
out. But before you get to that state, but I feel like you could be your own. Like first, before you can be somebody else's, like have expectations for somebody else, like do you treat yourself better? Do you love yourself the way you want to be? I know you want somebody to love you and cherish you, this and that. With my husband and I, we have that like bond that I'm comfortable. Like he go to work, I go my own thing. We have our own thing. But at the end of the day, we come together as like one. That's the main thing.
Hmm.
But like a dream person who's gonna come and save you, no, that doesn't happen. I don't think so. From personal experience, it doesn't happen. But before I get to that person who is gonna be there for me for whole companionship, I had to be my own like I had to be okay with my own self first before
Yes.
somebody else
Once
come
once we are
along.
once we are miserable with ourselves, we
Hmm.
cannot be happy with anyone else.
No, no. That's what I was. Like I wanted these people to help me out, save me, love me, cherish me. But I got to the point like, why, Raman? You make your own money, you pay your own bill. Why do you need somebody to spend money on you? I'm like, I can buy my own stuff. I can do materialistic to whatever I want to. I can even travel by myself. But it's nice to have somebody come along in like
Mhm.
when the time is right. Now it's like whenever we travel we go places and stuff, it's nice. Like I've done this before too, but now it's extra special with them.
Hmm.
But before somebody can save you, I can tell you, you got to save yourself. You got to be your own best friend. Because, this is the, like, कहते हैं ना, दुनिया में अकेले आते हैं, अकेले जाते हैं. We're not taking anything this with to the next journey. We're not.
Yes.
But the main thing here is our companionship. Like, I believe in the, like, shadi karao na karao, that's your personal opinion. But then the companionship, I think that matters. But a good one too. You don't want to be in miserable companionship too. So before you could find a perfect companionship, I think it's time for you to have your own companionship. You should be able to be okay. अगर शादी हुई हुई नहीं हुई तो क्या है? अगर find किया partner किया, great. Not find, that's okay too. But I still love my own self. You know, that's one thing too. Like I am like now, like I came to like conclusion too. I spend more time with myself than anybody else. That's for sure. I don't spend time with my. I mean, I spend time with a husband, but I sleep with my own, like I sleep with, like, I go to bathroom, go to work. I do so many things with my own self, but then my partner is just that companionship that I'm getting with him. I think that's better. Matters more than anything else.
And how did you manifest such a unique dog?
Unique dog. My Rambo. Is that what you're talking about?
Rambo. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny though. For the longest, I wanted a dog. My mom told me either you or the dog, pick one. Nobody, I cannot have two people in the house for the longest, all the Indian families. And last, before I got married, I was talking to my husband, where should I get a dog? And then, like, kids were asking, like, when we're getting a dog, this and that. I was like, and I'm like, oh, next year. They're like, when? I'm like, July. I just threw this number out of blue. When in July? I'm like, end of July. And guess what? This dog came, his owner's name was Raman as well. And he came to me. And I have a funny joke. I'm like, hey, I think he got delivered to the wrong place. Address, they came to the right address now. Because her name was Raman Gill and my name is Raman Gill as well.
Are you
It's
serious?
funny. I
Wow.
know it's a funny coincidence. So
Hmm.
yeah, so this person who had him, she needed him for the longest, and then but she couldn't take care of him. She the way his life was. She offered to my sister-in-law, like, hey, end of July, like, so it. I'm talking about 2022 because 2023 when we got him. So 2022 in like I think when was it? In December when I would talk to him, I talked to the kids and my husband. Then I was like, "Hey, we're gonna get a dog, maybe next year." They're like, "When?" I'm like, "In July." They're like, "When is July?" I'm like, "End of July." And guess what? My sister-in-law's friend, whose name is Raman Gill as well, she's like, "I need to get rid of this dog. I cannot take care of him. I cannot provide for him."
How,
And my
how
sister-in-law
many
knew, like,
how many Raman gills are there in this world? What do you think?
there's a lot of them, but
Abundance.
it's a
There's the
coincidence.
abundance of
Yeah.
them, right?
I know, but the only thing is just like it was just weird. Then it was end of July when she offered that, and first week of August he came to our family.
You know,
Like just like,
there's also
hmm.
C.V. Raman. He got Nobel, right? Nobel Prize. There is also
Oh
Maharishi
yeah.
Raman. Raman Maharishi.
Oh, there's so
So
many
Raman,
Ramans.
so Raman is a very, universal thing. Mm.
Oh, you know what? And one thing, funny thing is, funny coincidence. My dad, he was a teacher in India, and
Mm.
he had like 4 or 5 coworkers. They all have a daughter named Raman. So it's yeah, that's like
Maybe
yeah, they have like
maybe all of
everybody
you
has
are
that.
soul family. Maybe all of you, manifested same time in our world.
You never know, because
Yeah.
that's funny though. Then that dog came and I took care of him for first week or so, but no. And then after that, my father-in-law is taking care of him. But I think he thinks of me as his mother. He follows me wherever I go. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, and he can sense it. If I'm going through something, he will spend extra time with me.
Mm.
That's what he's doing. So
Raman,
that's how I manifested him.
what is the role of trust? Trusting yourself, trusting the universe. What is the role of trust in your journey and in your manifestation process?
Oh, it took me a while to trust myself. It took me a while to trust like everything gonna be okay.
Hmm.
Because if I didn't trust in the universe, because you know what? I compare myself with all other people. I know I shouldn't compare, but I do compare myself. I could have been born in a like I watch tons of documentaries where like child labor is happening, this and that happening. Things happened during my childhood, and till this day, like if the universe did not like, I think universes think I'm the universe's forever child. That's what I'm like biased, but I am gonna say a universe has back
You
my
can
back for the longest.
you
Huh.
can put that in Instagram bio. Universe most favorite slide.
Yeah, that's what I feel like because things
Yeah.
happen in my childhood and my adult growing ages. Anything could have happened. I could have been start like if I was not able to take care of myself, like universe was not that way. Like अगर मेरे पास universe ना होता ना मेरे साथ कुछ भी हो सकता था. I would have been on drugs. I would have been still living in the same life. I would still be repeating same mistakes. I would be doing same like loophole over and over
Hmm.
and over. But I was like, once I trusted it, it was like, itna kuch ho gaya. Despite all that, I'm successful. I'm doing well in my life. I'm still functioning. I'm still healthy. I'm still able to express my feelings and my everything. I think I need to trust it. अभी इतनी जिंदगी में इतनी दुनिया में छोटे से होते हुए इतने साल मुझे प्रोटेक्ट किया है. आगे नहीं प्रोटेक्ट करेगा यूनिवर्स, but I have to give some faith in the universe.
Look at our body, right?
If
The most
yeah,
complex mechanism in this world, and it's running smoothly, right?
yeah,
And you know how complex is it? Millions of processes happening every day. And because we don't worry about that, subconsciously we trust on our body. We trust on the universe or
huh,
truth or God, whatever,
yeah,
unconsciously or subconsciously, that next day I will wake up alive. And it happens.
yeah, yeah. We go to sleep and
And
we wake up.
the
There you go.
funny thing is, how come people forget about that when it comes to external situations? I mean, when your most complex mechanism is working and functioning so smoothly, so perfectly, because subconsciously, deep down, you know it will work. When it can work, why can't your external situations work out for the better in the end?
You know what? But it in order to realize, get to the point where you're like realizing that everything gonna be okay. Universe has got my back. You're in that dark hole. I've been in that dark hole when I was suicidal. I felt like all these like I had these deep like uncomfortable thoughts in my mind. I'm like, you know, भाड़ में जाए दुनिया, like like I've been in that dark point where I would wake up in the morning, would cry. But it took me a while, but I think I needed some guidance from everyone and try to do some shadow work. I think that's where it like when we start releasing those like old like like trauma and all these genetic like क्या कहते हैं but like हमारी generational trauma जो होता है ना, when we start breaking that, then you start like then you start realizing like, hey, I can trust the universe. Then you see bigger picture. Before that, I if I will be honest with you, I didn't think of any of this. Like मैंने नहीं सोचा था कि universe ने मेरी back की है. Even though I used to say, I remember when I was really young, 6 and 7 years, I used to say like I'm the favorite child because people like because the life was portraying like I have wonderful family who's taking care of me. They're like, oh, like you're spoiled. I'm like, no, I'm not spoiled. I'm blessed. I'm blessed with more than you can ever think of. I'm blessed with more than anything. But before I got to that point, I had to get through those like get rid of like negative belief system that I had in me before I was like, hey, universe got my back. Before मैं जो भी था चलता था, but like मुझे yeah, deep down, like it took me a while to realize that the universe
Hmm.
got my back, even though it had my back all along. But because I was in such a dark place, I did not see that at the time. I can tell you that much.
And now you can see that.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that. I can see that now. Before I couldn't. When I was like, yeah. Now I'm thinking of those moments. It's just coming back so real. Like it's just weird though. Even though like those were really really dark days, I must say that. But I think कहते हैं ना, लोहे को पिघलाना होता है, लोहे को कूटना होता है in order to make into a something. That's how I can like क्या कहते हैं like describe the situation that I was in. कि मैं पिघल रही थी, mold हो रही थी, shape हो रही थी. All these things were happening for this new phase in my life. I'm glad I went through those. I have no regrets about that. Like but I'm glad those happened to turn me into human person that I am these days. That's
You
for
know,
sure.
when people they go through breakup and they say that, I'm breaking deep within, I'm breaking from within. Is it them breaking or their ego is breaking?
It's the ego.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. It's just like, I did not realize like before when I would go through breakup and I would be like, hi, मेरी life उजड़ गई, this हो गया. But then I'm thinking about it, like I was not worried about the like my life उजड़ेंगी because there was no उजड़ना हो रहा. वो उजड़ना नहीं हो रहा था, but I had the plan of future. Like I was gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and X, Y, and Z. Those were breaking more than anything else. The future plan, they were not even present, they're like gonna happen future. They were breaking more than anything else. Yeah, that, but the thing is, I'm glad those happened though. I have no regrets about it though, till this day. Yeah.
And the
You
ego is,
every huh.
ego is that like, okay, she can go through breakup, he can go through breakup. Okay, it's a celebrity, they can go through breakup. Okay, it's a billionaire, they can go through breakup. How come I can go through breakup? Deep down we used to think like, I'm such a wonderful person. How can someone do that with me?
हाँ, तुझे मुझे
It's
धोखा क्यों किया किसने, मुझे इस
exactly
बंदे
like
ने धोखा,
मुझे,
इस बंदे
oh,
बंदी ने
सब
धोखा दे दिया।
पूरी दुनिया को धोखा मिल सकता पर मुझे,
मुझे नहीं,
I'm the
मुझे
most
नहीं हो
perfect
सकता।
person. I'm such a wonderful person. How can someone do
I
that with
know.
me?
And also I've done like X, Y, and Z for this person. I've done all things. I have brought like presents. I've gone on breaks. I went on like movies, this and that. I've done so much for this person. If the person needed food, I'll pay for food. If you need, oh, you don't have anything, I'll take care of this and that. Don't worry about it. I've done all things. But that was not for me. It was not me. It was just like me, that people pleasing person that's within me. That was it was doing. Even though I knew this person, like funny thing is, I don't know with other people, with me, I knew from the beginning this is not my person that I want to marry. I knew
Hmm.
from the day one. But then I like बात दिमाग में पीछे से थोड़ी बात आती है कि भाई this is not what you want. But nahi, Raman, like on the ego side, like nahi, Raman, you can do it. Don't worry about it. Then I've done that.
Yes.
There's like small little voice. Like I remember we did the parts work. There's a small voice like trying to be like, hey, Raman, this is not it. This is not it. This is not what you want. And nahi, nahi, I will take care of it. Don't worry. That's ego is like telling me like, nahi, I can do this. I will make, in the movies back in the days, the girl, there's this gunda guy, and then she turns him to this human being. There's that facade
I will,
also is
I will
happening
fix
to.
him. I will fix him.
Yeah, I'll fix them. I can fix anybody. I can fix
And
anybody, even for guys too. It's probably the same thing.
many women, they say
Mm,
like, we are, we are so, I mean, we want to save other people. We are so good human beings.
yeah.
Why is this happening with us? We don't realize that it's your subtle ego. It's your subtle ego that tells you that you can fix anyone.
Oh yeah.
And
And that
nature,
was me.
always stabilizes ego. And nature keeps on poking
Keep you in
them. It
check.
keeps on knocking them. But
Nay.
like,
Yeah.
you can't fix everything, and
Nay.
sometimes you can't fix that is not broken.
Oh yeah. The thing is, like, I was trying to do all these things to do, like, to have this ideal person in my life. But then whenever I go on dates and I'm like, Raman, what are you doing? Like so many times I've been sitting across the person, I'm like, why am I even here? Raman, you shouldn't be here. This is not what you want. But no, Raman, I'll take care of it. I'll got this. And when I went on a date with my husband, it was just a comfortable thing. We were eating chane bhature, and he's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I want to eat chane bhature." He took me to that place, and I'm like, "Cause for that place, like you didn't have to be all like table. Get a table men hone chahiye. You have to be done. You don't have to be dressed up fancy or anything. It's not a candlelight dinner or anything. It's just like you're eating. It's a messy food. You're eating all this, and you're eating. Who cares? You're having talk, and it was just amazing.
Hmm.
But it just, yeah, it's just like that conditioning that we had. I don't know, it's probably changing now in newer generation, but when
Ha,
I was growing up,
age of
I feel like
Aquarius.
at that time, yeah, but at that
Yes.
time the generation was different. The 20, 30 years ago people were different. But now, like, things have changed, people have evolved, but I feel like still there are people who are probably on the same journey as me. You know,
Can you
they still
feel
have that deep conditioning. Huh? Sorry?
can you can you feel that it's getting harder to manipulate?
Oh yeah, it's way better. Like now it's more like get you know, it's funny though. I think I told you before too. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I was sleeping for the longest. I finally woke up. That's what I feel.
Hmm.
Now it's you have to be more clear what you want. You cannot pick this like facade of like, hey, I'm gonna be nice to you, but however, I am behind the
Yeah,
door, I'm this evil person. It doesn't happen these days. I think people these days they're realizing that
you have to
like
be
I
authentic.
am, yes, they have to be. Because if you're not, then how long the relationship's gonna last? Because with me, how long I could keep up this facade of like, hey, love me, love me, love me. You're amazing, this and that. Please love me, please love me. How long can you keep up this facade? No, not too
Okay,
long.
why do people attract people with hidden agendas?
With me, I detected. There's like with me, I cannot say about those people. I think I have my own hidden agenda.
Hmm.
Because my hidden agenda, I want to be married. I
Hmm.
want to marry somebody. It doesn't matter. Oh, you want a casual date? But no, don't worry about it. We can casual date. But I know in the end of the day, we can be husband and wife. You know, my
And
own agenda was there.
yes,
Ah,
that's the thing. Like when we have hidden agenda within ourselves, we will end up attracting people who have the hidden agenda.
yeah.
You
So
know,
the person who I was attracting, they were not like they don't want to settle down. But guess what? I'm gonna make sure you can settle down with me. So my own agenda was there. And this time when I went on a date with my husband, I'm like, if I work out, work out. If not, then that's okay too. Who cares? Like we're gonna have food.
every trickster gets tricked in the end.
I know
A
my own
second thing,
agenda. Like,
every deception is self-deception. Because you
अपने
know why?
अपना वो mirror, is it a mirror analogy is
Because yeah,
happening like what I'm
exactly. Because energetically, the thing we call nature, it's a mirror, and it reflects the same energy that we give it, right? And it reflects the same energy. Uh, if we give if we carry deceptive energy, if we carry energies of hidden agenda, what will happen? That same energy will go to nature and it will reflect the same situation and same people towards us. So self
yeah
honesty is the best policy.
yeah I agree with you because
You
I'm
know,
like
they say they say honesty is the best policy, and I would say to that, honesty is the smartest policy. Yeah,
the best and only
yeah,
smartest because you have to be honest because you know like I like when I was on going on date and stuff with these people like my own agenda was like I'm looking for a husband. I want to be settled down. I had a deadline that I was giving myself like I better be married. I remember one time I went on a date with somebody on my first date. I'm like, hey, if we like each other, we're gonna be married in December. And then like this is a person I'm meeting for the first time. This is the first date I'm talking about.
mm,
And then you know the person is like, oh yeah, sure, 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 sure. Never seen him again.
yeah. Thank you very much,
Oh, that
Raman.
was funny.
And
Thank you.
I think it was the best conversation that we ever had, and
Pretty
it was
authentic,
very yes,
coming from the heart.
of course, it was like raw, completely authentic, and there's lots to learn from this conversation. Everyone who watches this conversation, he or she can learn lots of things about that. Because uh, the best conversation is our real life scenarios,
Agreed. Because I
our own
cannot talk about
experiences.
your life or somebody else's life. Because whatever is, I can come. That's the best like I can compare with. Because I'm like I can tell you my experience. I don't know anybody's because I'm not living in
Yes,
somebody else's shoes.
that's called self responsibility, and we don't need, because now you know everything starts from here.
Mhm.
So why we don't? Why there's even a need to know about someone else's life?
No, we have too many things in our own little world than anybody else's. Like you know, and we're not. We're like, get it up, like you know, we're on our own journey. Like you know, right there. I'm not like Ambani. I'm not somebody else. I'm in my own little like,
But there are many
bubble.
people like you. There are many people like, no, like what's going on in Mohalle ke uncle auntie's house. What's
Oh
happening
yeah,
over
back in the days. I don't know what I remember like in the गली में खड़े
there?
होते थे नहीं उनकी लड़ाई हो गई है वो
Yes,
लड़ रहे
they're
हैं
more
वो like
interested in
serious है
other house story than their own.
because in their house they were having the same fight too. The only thing they were not putting on the street, they were still having
Mm.
argument behind the door, getting beating each other up.
They were looking for validation. Like, is the same thing happening everywhere, or is it just our house?
Yeah, but now like things have changed. People
I
have
think things have
changed.
changed. People have changed because energetics have changed on our planet. People have become more aware. They're more educated because there is access to internet. The
I think
access to internet and
2020.
social media is now widespread.
Yeah, it's 2020. I think it was a reset for everyone.
Exactly.
Those like the whole lockdown was a reset for everyone. It made us think about things that we never thought about it.
It's
And it
reset
made
of
us like,
consciousness. It's reset of
yeah,
global consciousness. And we can see, global consciousness is going through a transformation. And transformation is never a piece of cake. You have to go through struggle. A cocoon, that larva, it goes through cocoon and then it eventually it ends up as a butterfly.
yeah,
Yeah. So
that's where we're,
that thing has to go through struggle, right? He struggles. He tries to spread his wings, and then he ends up a butterfly. So the same thing is happening right now. And people are realizing that there's no point in dealing with the other people by wearing a mask because it consumes so much energy. I mean,
to
how,
keep up
what
that
kind of
mask.
like what kind of existence you're living if you have to keep up a mask because you're not going to live from here alive.
No,
You're going to die anyway. So why don't die being authentic version of yourself than trying to be something that you're not, faking something. Basically, you're living like a joker,
I
clown.
think that's what my husband says too. He's like, Raman, we have spent our like half of our life is gone. Like we have spent next half of life. Do you really want to keep on repeating the same thing, the same recording over and over, or do you want to grow together as one? Like you want to see the future. You want to like just enjoy this journey. Why are we gonna repeat the same like issue over and over? Let's think like jo ho gaya. Let's grow together as one, as together. That's why I
Yes,
love him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because the best thing in life to have is a committed partner that you can trust with your eyes closed.
Oh yeah.
Even if you
That's
think
what it is.
practically, yes. And that is the most important financial decision in your life also. You know, people think
It's
people think choosing a partner is they're very casual in choosing while it comes to choose a partner, but now people realize that it is the most important financial decision of your life.
yeah, it's like the whole life it depends on that. Like you don't want to end up with somebody you're gonna regret. Because I told my husband too, it's kind of like I have really open communication with him. Like I'm like if I would have married anybody in my life that I dated before, I would have been miserable. I can tell you from deep down, I know that. And I have that when I say this, like with my husband, like I'm so happy that we are like when we met each other, you know. Before I would have been
बस
miserable. And I can't
बस
imagine what I was going through.
बस आपके नजर ना लग जाए आपकी रिलेशनशिप को ठीक है
नहीं लगेगी क्यों
इसलिए
लगेगी
यूनिवर्स
लगती
बिकॉज यू गॉट द प्रोटेक्ट यू आर
Universal,
प्रोटेक्टेड
yeah, Universal is protecting me. It has protected me for all these years. Like I could have been on a drugs. I could be like in a really. I could be. People again. There's so many women are prostitutes these days, not because they don't have money, not that because they come from the bad families or anything. It's like there's something they don't need, but it's just like things happen in their life and they are in this journey. And I could have been one of those ones. I have nothing against with them, but it just I could have been one of them too.
दे नीड
I
हीलिंग
could have been somebody on drugs. Yeah. So it's just like, and with me, I think universe, like going back to that universe favorite child, like it has protected me with everything I can think. Like I have a best husband, best job, best, like everything is going great.
बेस्ट डॉग
I can tell you that. Yeah. Best dog, my Rambo.
universe best Capricorn child.
I know. Hard-headed,
You know,
you
the good thing
know.
is your Capricorn, your husband is Pisces, and you know, water and earth is a great combination because water nourishes earth and water finds
Oh,
usefulness. Water finds usefulness to earth.
so it worked
So
out
you
perfectly in our scenarios.
exactly, yes.
So it's just not like one thing, it was multiple thing aligned us like, and I think he has his own journey too when he went through so much in
You
his
know,
life. I think that's what it kind of like brought us
that's the magic.
together.
That's where magic comes. You know, that's where magic comes. Like when things align, they align perfectly. Energetics, even zodiacs, everything,
Hmm.
just because of trust and just
Yeah,
because we clear mess within ourselves.
because we
Thank you
must
very
clear
much.
what we have.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Raman.
for having
Second
me.
time, thank you.
Thank you
Because
for
I
having
know
me.
that if we keep on talking, it may,
We can
we
talk for
can
days, okay?
we can take it, we can keep on talking like end of times, till end of times. So let's
Thank you, Raman.
stay right there. And thank you very much again. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.